Good day. My name is Taban and I'll be presenting my final POE. So, with regards to my final POE, I had problems with Cloud Labs, in which I have made the lecturers see my issues with regards to the hours. So this was my hours before I started the cloud development, enterprise development and application security module, in which application security module was the first module that I had worked with in accordance to his hours in cloud dev as well. Then I was left with 2 hours to work on part 3 with regards to enterprise development. So in this video I'll just be showing you the progress in which I've made in this enterprise development POE. Okay, let me go to the website. I'll just open this. Okay, just this. So let's see. So I'll show you based on this. Yeah. So the first task was to create a new MVC or a new ASP.NET Core Web API project. So I'll just open this. As you can see now, it's loading the project, which is the testing project, the MVC project, as well as the web API project. So just close this. Okay, still loading. Yeah, let's close this. Test. Close this as well. Okay. So this is my TechMove Web API project, right? So if I go back, yeah. So here we have to strip the. Okay, let me just go back so this can guide us. This one, yeah. So strip the business logic and database access out of MVC controllers. Create a new project. The API should be the system talking to the database. Important. The API might expose endpoints, get, post, contract, right, and any other you might need to make your system work correctly. These are just examples. Swagger OpenAI enables Swagger, so the API is self-documenting and testable. We use the code, right? So let's start with the API should be the system talking to the database. So if you come here, so I'm just showing you the implementation because this is not running, right? So these are my data model, right? So I have my application DB context here, right? Since this is my web API, then I have my connection string over here on my app settings. Yeah, this is my connection string. Then if I open the program, see here I've implemented some Swagger, right? I've also implemented some JWT tokens, right? So as you can see over here, then these are my models as well. So you can see these are my models. Okay. And then going to the contract, as you can see, APIs, I have my get, right? I have my HTTP post as well, right? Then I have my also HTTP get here with regards to your ID, then also my HTTP post here, right? Then let me just open this as well, because I've made some progress in this application, but yeah, so as you can see also over here, my API service, which is the service layer. Here's my API service, right? I have my HTTP client here. I have my port over here as well for my web API. And if I go to my controllers as well, contract, yep, details. So I have my post as well here. I have my get HTTP post. Yeah, so that's the chunks of it here, right? So as you can see there, I've implemented Swagger as well as JWT for this one. I can also show you my, okay, let me just do this, my Pocket Managers. So if you check the installed ones, you see I have my JWT, and then this is for me to able to use my JSON. Then I scroll down a bit, so this Microsoft SQL server, so I can connect to the database on its own, right? Then this is my Swagger for documenting my built API, right? And I'll just go back here. Okay. It says refactor the MVC front end, modify should no longer connect to. So I've already shown you this. MVCs must use HTTP client to call the web API and save data. Okay, I've already shown you this, but let me show you again. So it must what? Use what? A web API. So as you might see over here, open this. Just load this. So this is my API service, right? As you can see over here. So instead of, okay, here's it. These are my controllers. So on the contract controller is not using what the context. Instead it's using what the API service as per the assignment, right? Okay, I don't know why I keep doing this. So that makes us be able to connect directly to command to instead we use the HTTP client to call. So if you check this over here, my API service, it's using what? My HTTP client. So the moment I call this API service, I'm already using what? My HTTP client, right? Okay. Then for what do I keep pressing down? Okay, and then I must be able to expand what my testing program so that it includes integration tests. So I've included the code for that as well. Okay, so I'll just load this, then I'll open my test project, API integration course. So as you can see, I have some errors here, right? So I must be able to get successful data. I must be able to post service requests with returns created, right? As you can see, I'm also using some status codes over here, right? this is as per the rubric as well, right? Then I'll just go back over here. So the chance of this was being implemented, I was just running out of time. Then I have my Docker. So I've created a Docker for this web API. No, for this one, web API. But I couldn't create a container for this one, right? Okay, but I'll show you what my Docker YAML file. So let me just do this. Okay, just do this. Then I'll just do this. Then I'll just show you my. And then it will show you for the database. Here's my Docker compose YAML file. Right. See, I have the one for the web API. I have one for the database. Right. Then I have the one for my actual project. Now if you open the project, you can see I have my Docker files over here. So this is my Docker file for the project, the first project, and then this is my first project, I mean my MVC project, and this is my Docker file for my web API. Right. And just come here. And that's just my technical report. Then this I've already included in the code. So that's the chance of it. The majority of the problem is I had problems with my timing, but all of this I was nearly done. I was just debugging the errors, and then I would have been done with this project. So hopefully we can find a solution to this Cloud Labs, or increase my submission time so that we can finish this, because I'm nearly done with this one. Most of the chunks of these have been implemented. I just have to make sure that I create those containers, the integration tests run, or as well as I have uploaded this solution into GitHub. So let me just show you the solution in GitHub. Close. Okay, close this. Say GitHub. So as you can see, in GitHub, what do we have? We do have a Docker compose. Then if you open this, what do you have? You have your Docker file here, right? And then I'll just go back again. Look where I'm going. Okay. My bad. Right, elements, and then my web API. I also have my Docker